Hey guys, hit like, and if you want to support, you can do so at patreon.com/Shimu411 or Cash App $Shimu411. Thanks. Lolcow Live, a show created by Keemstar, where Boogie2988 and Wings of Redemption dress up as women for the satisfaction of who, I'm not totally sure.
Daddy Keem.
I got the accessories, Daddy.
I can twerk for you, Daddy.
It's like a Hollywood humiliation ritual, except instead of getting new movie deals, nothing changes and you still give Keemstar 60 to 70% of the earnings that are made, with fake firings every other week.
What are we doing?
Anyways, they created a spin-off series by the name of Lolcow Queens. Grace Thorp was picked to be a host on the show, and I've covered Grace and her family since they started on this platform. I was asked by Lolcow Queens Lynx and Becky to air out Grace's dirty laundry. We all had an agreement for me to create a video showcasing receipts of a variety of heinous things Grace has done in the past. Just an hour prior to the show going live, Becky seemingly out of nowhere angrily ordered Lynx to let me know I wouldn't be allowed on the show. I wasn't given a reason why whatsoever, and Becky told Lynx,
"Because I said so. I am the producer of the show and I make the decision, not you. So please do your job and don't make me ask you a third time."
I let Lynx know, who was very nice by the way, that I would have to talk about this publicly, because I had a feeling the order was probably coming from Keemstar. After creating a thread detailing what had happened, Xylee Israel got on panel to figure out why they weren't allowing me on the stream.
I'm talking about Shamu.
Okay, so why couldn't Shamu come up here?
There's a reason that I cannot discuss, but there is a reason and the people above me know it. So I don't need to explain it to you. Next.
It is rich that on a stream titled, Becky Reveals Grace's Dark Past, that Becky has to say that they are protecting Grace and actively stopping someone from talking about her past.
I don't know, live stream with Shamu.
That doesn't matter. You don't know what he was going to say on the show. You don't know what he was going to say on the show. I do.
How do you
There's a
know?
reason.
How do you
Because
know
he
what
told me. Because he told me, and I read the text, and I was like, "Oh fuck! I can't let this guy go live because this is going to get our channel struck down."
So this is just bullshit. I censored any words that needed to be, and none of my videos ever get struck. They didn't even watch or try to watch the video prior. If they would have told me that they were worried about a strike, I would have gladly let them watch and edit whatever needed to be, but they didn't do that.
Stuff, was it criminal?
It doesn't matter, Grace.
What was it?
The reason I'm not going into it is I'm actually protecting you right now, so please don't push me. Yes, Keem.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm here to solve this one little argument and debate of what's going on. All right. So I was told from Becky that someone's coming in to reveal that you think the age of consent is 14. And I told Becky, keep all that shit away from the fucking show.
Oh wow, I had no idea that these topics were off limits.
I'm not seeing a predator, right? I'm seeing a creep.
If I was this super predator that deserves to be in prison, why in 17 years has no text messages ever came out about me being as a minor?
Wings, you admitted to watching child.
Doing
All away from the show. But then when I reached out to Grace, she said, I didn't say that. That's not true.
I have no idea if that's the truth. I would be shocked if Grace said that. Ben Thorpe has debated this topic at length with Speakeasy and Hunter Avalone, but also Grace and her father have openly talked about this on stream many times. After this runaround nonsense and making this public, I was told they would have me on now, only I wouldn't be able to provide any receipts or mention anything that was in the video I made specifically for it. And just to be honest, I was pretty fed up with the whole thing. They literally titled their first Thorpe stream, "This girl fucks her dad?" And regularly make comments about the abuse with Grace, but not in some informative warning or explanation, but to literally mock her like a circus animal.
Dude, have you seen your feet?
Look, when I jerked my dad off, I didn't want to do it. When I jerked my dad off, I didn't want to do it. When I jerked my dad off, I didn't want to do it. Doing.
So I got on the air eventually and told him what I thought.
Well, then get on the floor and suck cock, bitch.
It was total bullshit. I laid out everything that was going to be in the video. Nobody said anything about it. None of my videos get struck down. And the fact that you guys aren't even willing to like put anything on screen, or I can't even talk about it without getting kicked, about her comments about 14-year-olds.
No, we're not going to talk about pedo shit.
Yeah, you can't talk about it. You guys are just covering, and it's total bullshit. I don't know.
It ain't covering. I just don't discuss it.
I don't know who you guys.
I never asked you were going to talk about Shamu. You were going to talk about stuff like age of consent and stuff that cannot be discussed.
Stream. It's a bullshit, lighthearted thing because you guys want to be able to keep your show.
on.
So you can try to hide it or whatever, but it's on my Twitter.
It has nothing
People
to do
can
with
go watch
hiding
it
anything.
and look
Do
at
you
it,
see?
and you
Do
guys
you
can keep
guys see?
tweaking.
I'm trying to
I
protect
know you're
the
not talking
fucking
about me,
show
bitch,
here.
because I.
It truly is one of the most bizarre dynamics that everyone has a pass to mock Grace for being in this insane, abusive relationship with her father on the show constantly, but at the same time not allow anyone to bring up anything in regards to her behavior or the reality of the situation. And if you ask me to come on to expose Grace Thorp, I'm not going to just sweep for you or her by admitting or pretending like some things don't exist. I'm going to be honest in my opinion on stuff that I cover. Don't expect me to do otherwise. I want to play what was prepared and agreed upon for Lolcow Queens, but we'll have more to say thereafter. Hey, this is Shamu. I was asked by Lolcow Queens to come on the show and elaborate on Grace Thorp's dirty laundry. I wanted to provide receipts and proof in an easily understood way and made a quick video to do so. While people regularly attribute many heinous things that they do to her father, people forget or don't know that Grace has been a like-minded participant for the vast majority of their actions. So, let's get into it. In her father's Discord, Grace was asked, quote, "So having sex with a consenting child has good elements?" To which Grace responded with, quote, "Yes, it does. You want to connect with someone," end quote. In another message, Grace is asked, if sex is inherently good, that means a man having sex with a child is good, right? Her response was, quote, "It has some good elements, yes, but it's not, quote unquote, good." Yet again, when responding to a question over the age of consent in Discord, Grace responded with, "I agree with 14 as a minimum age for girls. I could see myself potentially being ready for marriage at 14. My sister Maggie is 13, and I could see her being potentially ready for marriage in a year. Do I think I'm currently mature enough for marriage? No." This statement and her inclusion of her minor sister within it is important for what is to follow. At this time, Grace's mother, Courtney, had custody of Grace's 4 minor siblings. Ben Thorp, at the time of Grace's comments about marriage, began expressing renewed interest in Grace's minor sister and began making disturbing and uncomfortable comments.
Okay.
I've really kind of discovered Grace's younger sister, this wonderful young woman. She's just so funny. And finally, one of my kids has my same spirit of like thinking things are funny and doesn't freak out about everything. I was yelling at her and she was just like
but
so
Ben,
she's terrific.
So now you're saying
like, it's like daddy's girl. This one over here is just this mirror of her mother. This just never stops.
Okay,
like,
so Ben,
okay. I'm ready to dump her. She's hit the wall. I'm ready for
Ben,
something new.
Ben,
sucks. 6 years.
I got a new daddy anyways.
She hit the
and
wall.
He lives in Mexico, so
Ben's being.
I think teenage girls would really like me.
Statements like this terrified Grace's family, as they had already been through what Ben did to Grace. Ben would continue these comments, and Grace's eldest brother began responding with, quote, "You want to touch her, you creep. Stay away from my sister," and, quote, "I won't let you groom Maggie." Grace around this time would begin kidnapping her younger sister without her mother's consent and sometimes knowledge for days at a time to be with her and her father, and refuse to return her minor sister. This would further terrify Grace's family, and in one instance of her taking her sister without her mother's consent, Ben Thorp would post this. According to Grace's brother, what Ben had posted was a picture of the minor child's breast, and Ben wrote, "I find this image attractive. Does that make me a perverted cunt? Both my daughters have these. I think I'm normal." Ben's eldest son would question if it was his 14-year-old sister, to which Ben would reply, "Keeping the world safe by accusing fathers everywhere of taking pictures which show that their daughters have breasts. It's about time we had somebody stamp out this moral offense." His son would then reply with, "That's definitely Maggie then," which apparently Grace thought was hilarious. Things would escalate further as Ben began to encourage his 14-year-old daughter to do sexual things to torment her mother, suggesting one of the exact ways in which Grace would torment her mother when Ben's grooming began with her.
"I told Maggie that she should troll her mother the same way Grace trolled her mother. This blowjob stuff, that they're free to do this thing. Not with me, but she's got this real problem. And I think they're welcome to send her pictures that she's going to freak out about. Maggie can take something and do that. Just to troll her, to go, Jesus, because
what Ben is referring to is encouraging his 14-year-old daughter to do this.
But at one point, years back, I was like, okay, let's just deal with this obsession. And I put a beer bottle in front of my crotch, and I had Grace perform fellatio on the beer bottle, which she did enthusiastically. and her mother flipped out.
In fear of being unable to stop Ben and Grace from further abusing her children, Courtney Thorp would get a restraining order on Ben Thorp, which states that he was physically and sexually abusive. Quote, "This follows a sustained campaign of emotional and sexual abuse, which he has forced on my children to witness, play part in, and be subject to. He has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but refuses medical intervention, leading to episodes of violence, threats, and emotional abuse." Ben Thorp would be served with a restraining order for his wife and children, which you think would stop him, but he once again would use Grace to again kidnap her 14-year-old sister without her mother's knowledge to be held up with Ben and Grace despite an active restraining order for days, refusing to give her back to her mother who had custody. Police got involved, to which Grace would lie to the police by saying her father was never near her little sister, even though they were in the same apartment, further enabling Ben. Eventually, the police and Courtney would end up at Ben and Grace's apartment.
They're right there on the bench, right outside the door. It's my mom, and so we are just inside, waiting for the police to arrive. She's so fucking crazy. We're just waiting for the police.
It was decided for Grace and Courtney to meet at a mutual location in a park to get Grace's sister back to her mother. What you're about to hear is an off-stream call in which Grace's mother would plead with Grace to protect her 14-year-old sister and tell her the truth.
You did this inappropriate thing with Maggie where you totally broke her trust with you because you said that you're going to prevent the same thing happening to her that happened to me. And she understands that to mean grooming and by her own father. Okay, you could say whatever, you didn't say that, but that's what she understands that to be. She was so freaked out by that. She turned to both of us in the park and she said to me, "What, am I supposed to go home with mom now?" Right? I just walked away. I was walking to my car. She gets in the car with me and then I'm parentified again. And she can't talk to her own dad because you have a restraining order against him. Don't you understand how you're putting me in the middle of things by doing
No, that's not being parentified. Telling her as an older sister your experience and being honest about it is not being parentified. That's just being a good older sister.
You're creating this situation. You said
I did not create it. I'm being honest about
you.
it, and you're lying about it.
You told her, she called you and she said, "Can you please explain why there was a restraining order against Dad?" You said, "I'm not talking about this with you.
Yeah.
And if you want to know the truth, ask your sister to tell you the truth."
Yeah, you should tell her the truth, and I'm not going to have her be told by you guys, or maybe just come up with it in her own
So
mind.
you won't tell her the truth. I have to tell her the truth. That's doubly parentified.
I have told her the truth.
You refuse to tell her the truth, and she can't talk to her dad.
I told her the truth in the park, and she asked you to confirm it, and you lied. I am telling her the truth.
For the
Grace, you know that I told Maggie the truth in that park, and you lied to her.
That's what you said. You said that. It's not a legal matter. There's no charge against him.
I don't know what you want to get me on, Grace. You shouldn't have lied to her. It was really important that you didn't. You should tell her the truth. You should protect her. I didn't protect you. I should have. But you should protect Maggie. And now I am protecting Maggie, but you should get on board. And I'm sorry. Obviously, just saying sorry like this is like nothing. But I'm really sorry for not protecting you.
Unlike other online scandals where a wrong take or association becomes some hot drama, but largely doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, Grace and Ben pose an actual danger to their family and others. Even as recently as a few days ago, Ben and Grace announced this.
No, but aren't you going to announce that you've got a new media manager? Your sister, my daughter.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm in the works of hiring my sister Margaret as my PR manager.
She'll be great.
Posting on my Twitter for me.
And that'll be another
Instagram.
scandal because she's 15 years old, which is too young to blank, whatever it is. They'll say she's underage.
Yeah.
Lastly, and this is just to warn people who may be around her, Grace has falsely accused her father's past coworkers and associates of sexual assault on live stream with the intent of trying to hurt their IRL life. She claimed Ben's ex-coworker groped her, with her father just sitting across from them in the RV. In no way do I believe this happened, as quite regularly Ben would encourage his trolls to contact his ex-coworkers' employment and wives. He wanted them to be ruined, and if he decides to do that with you, he will be using Grace to do so. There really isn't anything Grace will not do to meet whatever end her father has laid out.
Do you guys care that Grace said she's getting space from Ben just for the show?
Well, I care. No, I don't care. I don't care. And here's why. Here's why I don't care. In order to do the show and do the show correctly, she needs space from Ben. I don't care. I don't care if it's just for the show. I don't care because my motives are just for the show. So it's like, it lines up perfectly. I'm not trying to save Grace. I'm trying to save the show.
Like Keem said, it wasn't because he cared about their relationship or how abusive it was, but because he just wants to save the show. So he just wanted the illusion of Grace not being with her father for the optics of it. So Ben was quite literally a part of the financial arrangement that he made. You are paying him and Grace to keep Ben off the streams to further drive the amount of money coming in. Because of course, nobody wants to support a horrendously abusive relationship. Well, the only issue is, if this is the case, you literally would be financially supporting them, as would your fans. And I'm sure Ben Thorp really appreciates it. Even though I have shown you the restraining order affidavit, and much more if you consider all the court documents, family, friend, and neighbor testimony, Keemstar would regularly try to attribute their actions to trolling.
Maybe this was out of context. Maybe, all this is bullshit. The issue is, you guys have trolled way too much with this shit. You guys have fucking used this little shit and to get clout, the shock jock shit, the shit your dad has said is to the point where it's way too toxic for any entity to grow online.
So he officially doesn't exist. From here, this whole venture becomes really a clusterfuck of a lot of things that I'm not totally sure are true in regards to Keemstar's actions as Lolcow Live. People get fired and constantly brought back in a way that feels planned and staged, but I will try to give everything a fair hearing, while you guys should have a healthy dose of skepticism.
There's a wall, right?
You can have whatever opinion you want. I'm just saying the only person who has ever brought up my dad is other people on this show.
Okay,
not
Grace,
me.
he just
Other
walked
people.
in the background. You gotta go. Like, what is this? It was so simple. It was so simple. Keep him away from the show.
Because Ben appeared on screen, Grace was apparently fired. Lauren De Laguna wrote Keemstar to offer Grace a place to stay if Keemstar would hire her back, which was accepted. Grace was also given an opportunity to stay with Zayzudid as well. Grace would string both of these people along, saying she would meet them, but never actually following through on any of it.
And then to have the audacity to then be like, I'm coming at 8 p.m. and then really have no plans of ever showing up.
This went on for days, while Grace was able to appear on Lolcow Live, Queens, and Rewind to continue to garner more attention, viewers, and donations from Keemstar's audience. Grace would even pretend her father left by claiming he had to leave for court-ordered supervised visits with his children, only this was a lie. There wasn't a supervised scheduled until mid-January. Keemstar was also helping by insisting Grace's father had left her in Florida in his Discord and on stream.
I'm wondering. So my daddy, because Keemstar failed at being my daddy, is going to actually come back and pick me up. And we're going to have a great road trip back up the East Coast and take all of our viewers along with us while driving Lolcow, Queens, Live, and Rewind into the ground.
For the 3 or 4 days Grace pretended to be leaving her father, she over quadrupled her viewers, seeing highs of 1.5k live, made over $1,000 I believe on her last stream, and has amassed a new base of financial supporters from Keemstar and Lolcow Live. Ben remarked in her chat that he would get on stream, but that he couldn't so that Grace could get the bag. And when asked about Keemstar's show and Lolcow Live, he remarked, "It's all fake." So at best, Keemstar got worked by the incest gypsy duo to fleece his viewer base by pretending Grace was going to distance herself from her physically and sexually abusive father, and at worst, he knew and helped manipulate his audience by trying to insist a trolling narrative, try to censor me after I was asked on, and walk the white trash tightrope with Ben and Grace. They were even able to scam the Lolcow viewers by pretending to be broke and needing money for a hotel, only a couple weeks after they scammed 2K off their own audience when running a fundraiser for Fresh and Fit they never went to. Regardless though, rack it up. That's an incest gypsy duo W.
How we doing?
Just fucking
I'm a bubbly, friendly, smart, happy girl. I love to listen, talk, and just relax and enjoy the moment. I'm a very curvy, soft, and cuddly BBW. Ever tried cuddling with a fluffy girl? Our plushness is unparalleled.
Hey guys, if you like videos like this and want to support, you can do so at patreon.com/Shamu411. Some people had asked me to make a Cash App after my last video, which is $Shamu411. And YouTube recently monetized my channel, so if you want to become a member or support through Super Chats, you're welcome to do so.